check out our whole video, hit the link on the bottom of the screen. That video is available exclusively on odds.com. The Monday Nighter. This is what Prince of the City has been waiting for.
Oh, I think this is what we've all been waiting for.
I think it'll be a fun Monday Nighter. Seattle Seahawks 7-3, 2-3 on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles 3-6-1, 2-2-1 at home. The Eagles open up as 5-point dogs. That moves to 50.5. This total opens up at 52 and goes down to 50.5. Seahawks are on extra rest and preparations after their big 28-21 win at home over the Cardinals on Thursday night. Russell Wilson, 23 of 38, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also ran 10 times for 42 yards, but he was playing conservative. He was making no mistakes. He'd committed 10 turnovers in the previous 4 games combined, and he was just smart. Carlos Hyde returned from injury. He ran 14 times for 79 yards. Tyler Lockett led the receivers with 9 catches for 67 yards, 1 touchdown. And DK Metcalf was held in check with 3 catches for 46 yards. But he did catch a TD pass. And we talked about if you have a big defensive back that can slow down DK Metcalf, what can the Seahawks do? And I should have been on the under. Seahawks sacked Murray 3 times, 7 quarterback hits. And as we talked about in the Cardinals breakdown, in that second Cardinals drive, Kyler Murray took a very hard hit from LJ Collier and Carlos Dunlap, left with a sore right shoulder. Tight end Greg Olsen tumbled to the ground on a non-contact injury. It looked bad. It turns out it's not as bad as it is when we see it in basketball. He was helped off the field. He tore his fascia in his foot. He's on injured reserve. But if the Seahawks make a big run in the playoffs, he'll be back. Carroll said 4 to 6 weeks, but it could be up to 2 months. They lost Brandon Shell, the right tackle, in the fourth quarter to sprained ankle. Guard Jordan Simmons, cornerback Shaquille Griffin, Ethan Pocic, offensive tackle Brandon Shell, who I spoke about, running backs Travis Homer and Chris Carson Ellis is questionable. And they brought up defensive tackle Snacks Harrison from the practice squad. They've already made that Carlos Dunlap pickup look good. Why not get Snacks out there? Let's talk about these Seahawks first. Are you interested in them as big road favorites on Monday night?
I mean, I think maybe not all of the chat will agree with me here, but Prince in the City will. Eagles smash. This is at least a 20-point victory for the Eagles. The Eagles are terrible. Carson Wentz has played 2 good games this year, and he's been abysmal in every other game. This is the only reason why you shouldn't hammer the Seahawks here is because in so many games all year long, the Seahawks have found a way to let bad teams linger or come back. And, they're games decided by a field goal that should be an absolute light show, and they're not. Now, the Seattle defense remains abysmal, and there's no help on the way. Dunlap isn't changing that. He's the only real addition there. Even when it's not even a question of getting guys back from injury, they're just not a very good defense. Now, the Eagles suck everywhere except for their front 4 on their defensive line. So, and that frankly isn't enough to stop this Seahawks passing game. And again, the only reason I am not jumping on this is weird shit happens in Monday night games, and the Seahawks just have this thing where they want to win by a field goal. I don't know why. It always comes down to the last seconds, and it has no business in so many games coming down to that.
Yeah, well put. Well put. This total has gone from 52, opener bet 365, down to 50.5. It is at 51 at some books. Seems a little high, even though we are talking about the Seahawks. Eagles coming off a 22-17 loss at Cleveland. Wentz had another disappointing game, 21-35, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now it's 14 interceptions on the year. He was sacked 5 times. Wentz has been sacked a league-leading 40 times. Goddard caught 5 passes for 77 yards. He led the receivers and tight end. Miles Sanders ran 16 times for 66 yards. Starting center Jason Kelsey hurt his elbow in the first half, and then they had to bring in undrafted rookie Luke Jariga, and it was awful. Kelsey did come back. It was forced to. Left tackle Lane Johnson hurt his shoulder in the second half. He's listed as questionable this week. Defensive tackle Fletcher Cox left with a leg injury. he's not on the injury report. I was trying to get more information on it. Defensive end Derek Barnett injured his knee. He came back and blocked a field goal. His cornerback Cravon LeBlanc, sorry, keep going French, rolled his ankle in the third quarter. He'll be out for a while with a high ankle sprain. Offensive tackle Jason Peters listed as questionable. Guard Nate Herbig and Rudy Ford are also listed as questionable. Do you agree with this total moving from 52 down to 50.5?
Yes, and again, that has everything to do with Wentz being terrible. But if Wentz is throwing pick sixes, maybe it goes over, and maybe Seattle finally just smashes a team. But again, like they find ways to keep the other team in the game. They're a very frustrating team to bet. And again, a lot of it boils down to the fact that they just have an awful defense. So if maybe Wentz has his third decent game of the year, probably not, but maybe. Especially now with the way he's playing lately, he's just been abysmal. There's nothing that entices me about betting this game. I don't want to bet the total. I don't want to bet a total because I find Monday night games very frustrating. Last night another perfect example. But yeah, there's nothing appealing to me in this game.
This situation here, weather-wise, at this point, the wind is supposed to be there in the morning and die off by game time. Die off pretty much, not die off, but 10 miles per hour by game time. And we have showers and rain throughout the day. So, again, when you're dealing with wind, you need to wait and get closer to the day of.
Also, I want to see Jordan Love, man. I want to see him come into this game. Like, what's the point of drafting him if you're not going to – or, sorry, Jalen Hurts. I want to see – what's the point of taking him if you're not going to roll him out there and see what he can do, especially given how bad Wentz has been? At least find out. Find out if there's something there.
The problem is you're leading the division.
Yeah, for what, though?
No, I hear you. I hear you.
You're leading the most embarrassing division in the NFL. And whoever wins that, there's a 98% chance they're out in the first round.
We all remember when the Saints beat the Seahawks, when the Saints won that home field advantage in the wild card game with I think they had a losing record. I believe they had a losing record. It certainly felt like they had a losing record.
Wasn't that the other way around? Wasn't it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry. The Seahawks had the losing record, and they upset the Saints, who were thank you. Sorry. So, when you have that home field advantage late in the year, it's not impossible to put something together.
Yeah, but they don't have Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, yeah. I remember that run was nuts. Remember they broke the sound record until the Chiefs did, I guess, the next season or maybe the next week. Sorry. Late show. Yes, it was the other way around. I understand why this game is going towards the under. I don't see how the Eagles are capable of putting up points, even against the Seahawks. The team prop right now for the Eagles is 21.5. It's pretty low. 21.5. I mean, if I had a free play, I'd take the Eagles team total under. Is that worth betting on?
No, not against the Seattle defense.